out the thing for dinner afterwards. And actually, that reminds me, we are, choosing. Well, first of all, hi, I'm Doni, the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service, and the host of Doni Jones Live with Marty McFly, with Doni Jones and Marty McFly. And we have been really blessed through this whole situation with this coronavirus. We've been able to keep going and keep doing what we're doing because a lot of my work is making sure people's houses and properties are safe as far as trees falling on them. And then we're also doing some work for some companies that are, or organizations that are actually related to Georgia. So we've been blessed with that. But the reason why I'm making this video is because I really honestly feel that there is so much more good that's going to come out of this. That does not negate the fact that, yes, there's people losing their lives. That does not negate the fact that, yes, this can be scary for some people. And it does not negate the fact that there are people that are going to be in transition for a very long time because of this virus. But I will say this, there is nothing that we've ever been through that we didn't get through. And my goal with this video is to help people, especially business owners, because I think that's where, in fact, I know that's where this video is going to be focused, is on business owners. Specifically business owners that have a clientele base that they have to deal with directly or right in the community, and people that may or may not be able to get the stimulus loan. But from what I understand, most people will be able to get that stimulus loan. I may have my facts and figures wrong, but I believe that that is the case. But until that happens, there's things that we need to do as small business owners to keep things going. And so my heart is to serve. My heart is to use my own experiences to help people, I guess, keep going through challenges times. Whenever I talk to people about what my heart's desire is, it's always to help people, or to introduce people to their true positive self. When I was a kid, I had this dream. I was like 15, 16 years old. I just woke up in the middle of the night and I had this thought that I'm supposed to use my life to introduce people to their true positive self. Now, that is a little wordy and it sounds a little weird, but for some reason, it just resonated with me. And I truly believe that when hard times happen or when challenging things happen, that we're supposed to use that time to find the best in ourselves, the truest part of ourselves, to be our honest self. I mean, we should be our honest self anyway, but sometimes it takes challenges for us to get down to the nitty-gritty about what we want to do, who we want to be, how we want to show up in the world. So with that said, there's a few notes that I'd like for you guys to take. I've pointed out five points that I would like to make for small business people. And if you're not in a small business, but you want to start a small business or something like that, maybe this will be helpful to you too. So anywho, this is and these are all simple things. These are super duper simple things, but believe it or not, I talk to business owners, and you wouldn't believe how many business owners have not picked up the phone to call their clients and check on their clients and see how they're doing. So guess what point number one is? Pick up the flipping phone. I didn't say text, but we're going to get to that. Pick up the flipping phone. Take 2 or 3 hours out of your day, or whenever you have some time during the day, which right now with this whole virus thing, we should be able to make some time to take care of our customers. Call your customers. You don't necessarily have to ask for an order. You don't have to ask for their business, even though that's always nice. But do something like this. Like, I'm in the tree care industry. So I actually make this call every single day, especially since this coronavirus. And I'll be transparent. Prior to this, I did miss some days doing this, and sometimes I would go months and not do this. But I have a clientele base of over 10,000 people, and people know me in the community. So there are times that my phone is going to ring regardless, but guess what? I can't rely on that because things change, and I don't want to ever be the type of person that takes my customer base for granted. So with that said, the goal is to be able to make a certain amount of phone calls a day. Your thing might be 50 calls a day. Yours might be 25 calls a day. It might be 100 calls a day. It might be 10 calls a day. Whatever it is, be consistent with it. My goal is to make 50 calls a day. Do I always make 50 calls a day? No, but I try to. So, number one suggestion And the number one, I want to call these suggestions, I would say things you should do. The number one thing you should do to get through this challenging time is call your customers. Now, for me, getting back to what I was going to say, I'll pick up the phone and I'll call my customer. And I'll say, hey, Miss Johnson, how are you doing? And a lot of times they're like, who is this? I was like, by the way, this is Donnie with Don's Tree Service. I do hope all is well. I just wanted to let you know we're thinking about you. We're praying for you. And I hope all is okay with you and your family. I just wanted to tap you on the shoulder and let you know we're here. That if you do need anything, we are still here. We're here to serve. And of course, we'll make sure we're practicing social distancing. But I just wanted to reach out to you, let you know we're thinking about you, and just hope that you'll keep me in mind if you or one of your neighbors needs some trees. How have you been? And I'll let them talk a little bit. I usually have notes in my database about if they have a cat or a dog, and I have a really good memory in certain things. So if it's somebody, I remember their house, and I remember they have a nice garden. I'll say, and how's that garden going? Are you having more time to spend in the garden now? Because I know how much you love your garden. I really try to, if you want to go back to me actually initially meeting my clients, whenever I meet a customer, I really do try to get to know them. I really do try to notice things that I can tell that they take pride in, whether it's their pets, whether it's their kids, whether it's they play golf, if they like basketball, if they like, Georgia State, if they like, the Bulldogs or whatever it is, or their favorite football team. I'll notice it on the wall if they're a big Falcons fan, and I'll talk about that. And sometimes, actually most of the times, I'll make a note about that in my database. So when I call them, I'll say, hey, how are you doing, Mr. Jones? This is Donnie with Don's Tree Service. How'd those Falcons do for you this year? And he'll have a little conversation about the Falcons or something. And then I'll get right back to business. Not too soon, but I'll get back to business to say, I'm calling you because I want you to know we're still here if you need us. And also, we're offering 10% off of any, current estimates. Or I might have all kinds of different things going. But I'll tell them the reason why I'm calling. I won't sugarcoat it. I won't try to be slick, because nobody likes slick. So I'll tell them, I just wanted to let you know we're still here if you need us. I'm going to be in the area next week, so if you'd like for me to, I can just come take a peek at your trees and make sure they're okay. And believe it or not, a lot of the times they'll say, you know what, why don't you come take a peek at my trees? And so those are things that you can do. If you have a pet sitting business, or if you have a hair salon or a nail salon, you're going to have to figure out a way to make this work for you, meaning you might have to start a situation where people can get gift certificates right now for your business, so that when this thing is over, they can come in and get their hair and nails done, or they can give that to somebody else. And it might be a situation where you can't see somebody because you're not supposed to be within 6 feet, but you can do some consulting, or you can give people ideas over Zoom on how to make their hair look better. These are all things that you can do so that you can keep your business going. Call your customers. That's number one. Number two, send out thank you cards. I cannot tell you how much business we do because we send out thank you cards. I know it's corny, but that's what we do. We send out thank you cards to all of our clients, And it's at a point now where sometimes I have my kids do it. I have my assistant do it. I do it. But I like to get people a customer thank you card within the first week of us doing the tree job. I don't like for it to linger on. So sometimes I find myself doing it because I get tired of repeating myself about making sure these cards are out. But it is like one of those things that is very important to our business. And I don't think business owners understand how important it is. Put it like this. I love Ed Milet. He's in a completely different industry than I am. This guy's worth over $400 million, okay? Massively successful. One of the pointers that he said that he does is he sends out thank you cards. Do you know how many people will sit in an audience, pay thousands of dollars to listen to this man speak, and go home and not take the advice that he's given? Sending out a thank you card is one of the simplest things that you can do to help your small business. But you know how many people do it? Not a lot. So if I were you, even if it's get into your customer base, which by the way, get organized. Get you some QuickBooks, get Xero, whatever kind of software you need. It doesn't cost a lot of money. Sometimes it's $35-$40 a month. For us, it's $70 because of the size of our database and I forget the features that we have. But anyway, So I think I was just like 60 or 70 bucks. But I digress. If my accountant is watching this, she's going to be like, you should know those numbers. And that's another thing. Got to have my numbers. I got to get organized. Working on that. So, but as far as your customers are concerned, get in there and get organized. Know where your customers are. Have some data on them. Have some notes about them. And call them. And if you haven't called them in 2 or 3 years, it's okay. Get on the phone and say, listen, I haven't talked to you in about 2 or 3 years, blah, 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 blah. Send them a thank you note. In a thank you note, say, back in 2016, I just wanted to, we cut your grass, and I just want to let you know that I appreciate you letting us cut your grass, and if you need us in the future, blah, blah, blah. Even if they're not your current customer right now. They may not even use your services right now, but you'd be surprised how much business you would get just by doing that. The next thing, be on. Did I do social media? Okay, number 3, social media. I cannot say enough about social media. Now, I got to be honest with you. I kind of fought this for a while. Now I totally embrace it. I really do. And Gary Vee talks about it. I do not do enough social media. For those of you that know that I'm on social media, sometimes it seems like I'm on there all the time, and then I go through phases where I'm not on there or not. I am still not doing enough social media, but that's changing because I really want to be a woman of my word. I did a video, I guess, a couple months ago, and I was like, oh, I'm going to take Gary Vee's advice, and I'm going to do it, and I was doing it for 4 days, and guess what? Then I fell off. Inconsistency, not cool. I'm being transparent. I am asking you to be better than I was. And actually, I'm telling you that I am going to be better myself. You got to get on social media. You got to talk to your clients. You got to offer a deal. You got to let them know who you are. You got to also be concerned about them. You got to show how you serve the community. And that's all through social media. Snapchat. Well, I don't do Snapchat. But if that works for you, you do Snapchat. But for me, it's mostly Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm not on TikTok now, but I should be on TikTok. So I want to make a commitment to you all that I am getting on TikTok. But I will say Instagram and Facebook has been such a blessing for our business. Same thing with LinkedIn. And by the way, quality people are on LinkedIn. I'm just saying. If you have a small business, you need to be telling people about you. You need to be talking about yourself on LinkedIn. So that's another one. Share stories, share ideas, give advice. And even, I know a lot of people don't talk about their personal life, but I will say this. Because I do talk about my personal life, I do get a lot of feedback from people where they are just engaging with me and they're saying cute stuff to me and I'm saying cute stuff to them. And then guess what happens? When they need a tree cut down, guess what? I'm the person that they call. The other thing, number 4, be honest with your customers and be positive. Be honest and be positive. Now, the reason why I say this is because we are in the South, and I know that there's a lot of religious people, okay? And I'm not trying to step on any toes. But as soon as this epidemic, pandemic, or whatever hit, I have seen so many so-called religious people talk about, what we gonna do? We just got to put it in God's hand. I'm yet holding on. We gonna get through this. Oh my God. And they just sound so, I know it sounds like what they're saying is positive, but it's really negative if you read between the lines. Oh, the end days. Okay, say we are in the end days, you still got to pay your bills. You still got to take care of your customers. Okay, if the end, we don't know if it is end days. End day might be tomorrow. End day might be 10 years from now. Because guess what? With God, they say 100 years is like one day. So guess what? This end day thing might be another 100 years. But so you got to send out some positive energy, and you've got to be honest with your clients. For example, today when I was talking to one of my customers, she called. She has a tree that needs to be cut down. She's getting other estimates, but she's leaning towards me because we've done work together, but she's budget sensitive right now. And she was honest with me about that. You know what I said to her? I said, first of all, thank you for your honesty. I want to be honest with you also. Of course, we want to be your bid. We want you to do the work with us. I will say this, I may not necessarily be the cheapest estimate, but I promise you I will do a great job for you, and I really hope you know from the bottom of my heart that I want to retain your business. And honestly, if you do get an estimate that's close to mine or similar to mine, and you really are leaning towards us, please give me a call because I want to earn your business. Plus, we need the business. It means a lot to us that we can serve the community and still be here for the community. And with your help, we can continue to do so. Guess what? I got the job. I got the job. And so I say that to say I was transparent with her, but I was positive. So be transparent, but be positive. Now, on social media, be transparent and be positive. Don't fall into the negativity. Do not consume negative stuff. Do not look at negative things because there's enough of that floating around. And if you let that into your consciousness, it's going to affect your business. It's going to affect your life. It's going to affect your marriage. It's going to affect how you interact with your kids. I've got a good friend of mine, Shamanda. She's an amazing powerhouse woman. She has a ministry and she has a business. Her ministry is to help young women and girls. And actually, I think she also helps boys, well, let's say young women and girls, or the youth. She helps the youth be empowered. And she also has a part of that business called Fit Out. And it's an apparel company that basically encourages young people to fit out instead of trying to fit in. And she is really blowing up right now. And guess what? She is one of the most positive people that I know. She's not feeding into this fear. In fact, she and I call each other. We're like, hey, man, are we crazy? Because, everybody else out here is talking about like it's the end of days and it's horrible and all negative and stuff. We don't even have the energy to feed into that kind of stuff. We're out here trying to live our best. In fact, not trying. We are living our best life. We are enjoying our husbands. We're enjoying our kids. And guess what? She just quit her job a couple months ago. Just quit her job. So if anything, she could be freaking out right now. But she's so excited because of the opportunities that are going to be brought to her because of the way she's looking at things. And I'm talking about, even if you are the type of business where this is going to be impacted in a negative way, you got to keep yourself positive. You got to find the good in it. This might be a chance for you to retool your situation and go in a different direction. Or it might be a situation like me where, my business does pretty good, but there's a lot of things that I need to tighten up on. I need to get more organized. I need to do more stuff like this where I'm putting out content that's in my heart that I honestly never was taking the time. I mean, periodically I take the time to do it, but I'm actually taking the time to do it because I'm committed to this thing that's in me that I want to get out. So because of this coronavirus, it's something, just a spark just went out of me that goes, hey, I can do this now. Now, I probably could have did it a few months ago, but for whatever reason, the spark got lit by this corona thing. And so I don't even like talking about that. I just say the challenges we're dealing with. Because it could be corona one day and something else another day. Any kind of challenges you're dealing with, you got to come to it with a positive attitude. Like me and my friend Shamanda. So that brings me to point number 5. Let me just recap the other points. Number 1, call your customers. Number 2, send out thank you cards. Number 3, utilize social media. Oh, also YouTube. Put out good YouTube videos about your company, about your product, your service, and your integrity and what you do in your business to help the community and to help service your customers. You might have global customers, so it might not just be this community. It could be globally. So if you do something globally, say that in your video. Be honest but positive. And then the 5th thing, pray. Pray, pray, pray. Because this is the time that God is always talking to people. God is always giving us signs. But a lot of times, until people get a chance to sit back and be still, they're not really listening. So my prayer life has always been very important to me. And so I'm sharing this with you because I know there have been people that do know me or that may not know me personally, but they've seen our company grow and they've also seen us do our ups and downs, and then we rebound and get back on track. Everything that I do by God's grace and mercy, as well as my vision, as well as hard work. So it's all of that mixed up. But I actually listen to what God tells me, And I know some people can do this whole thing without God, and they might be atheists, they might be agnostic or whatever. And guess what? You know me, I love everybody. I don't know how things work for everybody else. But for me, I pray, I meditate, and I control my thoughts. Do I have a bad day periodically? Absolutely. But I am telling you, there is something powerful about getting alone and praying. There's also something powerful about getting together with your children and your partner or your husband and praying. Me and my husband and my kids, we will sit around each other, we'll hold hands, and we'll pray. We might pray to work on our goals. We might pray for our country. We might pray for each other, but we pray. We might pray. One of my youngest daughter, in fact, both of my daughters, when they pray, a lot of times they throw in there stuff about the environment. They say they pray for our environment. They pray for the animals. They pray for our country. They pray for their future. They pray for me. You know, I cannot stress enough how important prayer is. And if you can't tell by now, I'm not the fanciest, the most etiquette driven person. So my prayers don't sound like "Thee thou art, Lord Heavenly Father, please if thou willst." That ain't how I pray. Okay? I pray. I talk to God as a friend, because guess what? God is my friend. This is how I pray sometimes. Sometimes I'm driving down the road and I'm like, Lord, you know, I just really thank you for what you've done in my life. You know, I'm kind of confused about this situation with this upcoming contract. Which way should I go with that? You know, I really would like for you to give me some kind of guidance on this, because I just don't know what to do. I will do that. I will do. Another way that I pray, I'll close my eyes and I'll say, Heavenly Father, thank you so much for everything that you've blessed me with. However, I just ask you that you give me the wisdom and the ideas to be able to continue to grow my businesses. I would like to know, what do I need to do to get to a point where I'm selling 5 million books, and that I can grow my companies to 100 million. Lord, just give me wisdom and power. And guess what? All of a sudden, things start coming my way. That is the prayer I just prayed. That's a prayer that I prayed back in I've been praying that prayer for a while, but getting serious about it, back in New York with my friend Shamonda, I really straight up actually verbally said, those are the things that I want. Because sometimes, first of all, God knows the thoughts, God knows everything about us, but sometimes we don't verbally put out there what we really want. We'll be vague, like, Lord, just bless me to pay my bills and just, you know, create abundance in my life. Sometimes you need to say, Lord, help me get the wisdom, opportunities, and ideas to build a company that does 2 million a year, 5 million a year, 100,000 a year, 50,000 a year, whatever your number is. Be specific. You know, it says in the Bible, and y'all know I ain't no Bible scholar, to make it plain. To make it, in other words, when you're praying, make it plain. Say what you want. That's all I'm saying. So, I'm not going to harp on that, but I think that's very important. So, number one, to recap what we just talked about. Number one, call your customers. Number two, send out thank you cards. Number three, utilize social media to work for you. Be honest, but be positive. Pray and meditate. And control your thoughts. Focus on the positive. Please don't focus on the negative. There's so much good happening right now. Even with this situation, there are doctors and nurses and people that are doing awesome, amazing things to help people. There are people being kind to one another. There's people that are talking, on CNN, they were talking about helping the homeless. Hello. You know, they were talking about how other countries that have been at war with one another are now trying to help each other. There's people doing some good things out there, and that's what we should focus on. But also focus on your business, focus on your dreams, focus on what God has put in your heart, and go live your best life. Oh, yeah, and by the way, I don't have a copy of it. Go buy my book, From Failure to Fabulous. I just really would like for you to do that. I'm just going to be honest, but positive, and let you know that I would really like for you to go to Amazon and get my book, From Failure to Fabulous. Or you can go to my website, Doni Jones Live, and get my book, From Failure to Fabulous. And then you can also, you know, email me if you have any questions. And of course, if you have trees, you know, if you're in Atlanta and you have trees, you already know 413-TREES, 770-413-TREE, if you're in the Atlanta area. But my message goes out all over the place. So I know some of you guys are not in Atlanta. You might be in Tallahassee, Florida. You might be in Los Angeles, California. You might be in Greenville, South Carolina. You might be in Canada. Whatever. But anyway, you guys, I love you. I'll be coming to you from the cellar more often. I say it daily, but I don't know if I'll become daily because, you know, I'm just saying. I got to work on that. But I'm becoming to you more often because, first of all, I love this room. You know, I've been in this house for 3 going on 4 years, I think. And I've always wanted to use this cellar for this. It was an idea that came to me, and I never did it. Once again, talking to my friend in New York, I said, you know, I've always wanted to do something from the cellar. And guess what? Now I'm doing it. You know, the reason why I'm doing it is because I've had time to think relax, meditate, and focus on how I want to do stuff. And finally it hit me. I really want to do this selling thing. So there you go. There you have it. You guys be blessed. If you like this video, please share it. Go to YouTube and like my page. Like and subscribe to my page, Doni Jones Live. And also on Facebook, Doni Jones Live. Doni Jones Live. All right. Y'all take it easy. Bye-bye.